The Florida Keys is a barrier reef. It is basically the third largest in the world, and it stretches from north of Key Largo all the way down to Key West. We have over 500 different species of fish that live in our coral reefs.
They're home to probably as much biodiversity as a tropical rainforest, and home to species we haven't even discovered yet.
And the charge and the energy that it brings to you as you're descending upon these wrecks is just incredible.
It's so interesting, but spooky at the same time, looking at a man-made object underwater.
Educate these divers where when they leave, they have a new sense of why sharks are important and how they can become involved to help protect them.
It was a perfect day. There was zero current. The viz was 200 feet. It was absolutely flat, calm. It just went down without a hitch.
We needed to get ahead of it and rescue some of those corals. Make sure that we protected them, created a bit of a Noah's Ark, if you will, of those corals, because we were watching that disease just burn through our reef.
We want the corals to grow faster, to be more resilient, so we can catch up with the climate change that is ongoing.
I have every confidence that we can buy corals time to persist into the future.
We still have a planet that's tremendously bursting with life, and we still have a chance to maintain that.
Key West, the southernmost city in the U.S., is an intriguing blend of sun, historical sites, and natural beauty. It's like no other place on the planet. The famous, such as Ernest Hemingway, Robert Frost, Tennessee Williams, and Jimmy Buffett, all flocked to Key West, and for good reason. Old Florida homes, lush tropical greenery, amazing seafood, and an iconic sunset make Key West a sun-drenched, must-visit vacation destination. But Key West is also known for great diving, and the reefs off of Key West are like no other.
There's lots of reefs. I mean, Key West is surrounded by reefs, close. We try to do the closer ones. I mean, there are farther reefs farther away, for instance, like 60 miles, but that's an all-day trip. Haystacks, that's one of my favorites because it's got the large haystack coral formations, Cannonball Cut right there, marker 32, 9-foot stake, and then, you work your way up. There's Lou Key. Lou Key is fantastic coral. It's been protected the longest. And then work your way up Alligator Reef, Sombrero Reef, all the way up to Key Largo. So we're surrounded by reefs. The reef goes basically from pretty much from Miami all the way out to the Dry Tortugas. So you're looking at like 200 miles or whatever it happens to be. I mean, the wrecks around Fort Jefferson, the Dry Tortugas, are 60-some nautical miles from here. I've dove every single key. I've dove in Key Largo all the way to Key West. I've done every wreck on the wreck trek all the way. Of course, the Vandenberg's my favorite, but I'm partial to it because it's the best. It brings divers down to the Keys to dive, and I mean, we're a tourism-based economy. There's really, other than fishing, diving, and tourism, and both of those are tourism driven. So, it definitely put Key West on the map as far as some place to come and dive. We do have other deep wrecks, but they're, like the USS Curb, the Wilkes Barre, there's a submarine, there's an airplane, but they're all, 200 feet plus. The people that work for the dive shops in Key West are passionate about diving. They care about the ecosystem. They care about the people that are coming on the boat. We're always concerned for everybody's safety, and we want everybody to have a good time, not only underwater, but we want to have a good time once they get back and they're in Key West, and we want them to come back.
Looking at a map of the Keys, they look like individual stretches of land, all separated by water. but it is the water that binds the subtropical island chain. Some 3,800 square miles of waters surrounding the Keys are protected by a federally established preserve called the Florida Keys National Marine Sanctuary. Within the boundaries of the sanctuary lie spectacular marine resources, including the continental United States' only living coral barrier reef, extensive seagrass beds, mangrove fringed islands, and more than 6,000 species of marine life. The sanctuary also protects pieces of American history, such as shipwrecks and other archaeological treasures. Along with incredible research and group conservation efforts, we can all take personal responsibility to protect these treasured marine resources. Located in the sanctuary is John Pennekamp Coral Reef State Park. Established in 1960, it is America's first underwater preserve and offers amazing experiences. There's diving, snorkeling, canoeing, and kayaking. Visitors can enjoy walking trails or the beach, but it is the coral reefs that bring most visitors to the park.
So John Pennekamp Coral Reef State Park was the first undersea park in the entire United States, and it lies adjacent to the Florida Keys National Marine Sanctuary, which covers a staggering 178 nautical miles. So when the park first opened up, there wasn't a lot of awareness out there that the oceans or the reefs needed protection. It just wasn't a thing back then. And what John Pennekamp did is it brought awareness to that ecosystem, to our oceans, to our coral reefs that was not apparent before the park opened up. When you take your family there, whether you take them on a glass bottom boat, whether you take them snorkeling, they're going to see an amazing coral reef teeming with life.
They are just blown away when they see our coral reefs. Our reefs are bright, beautiful. It's unlike anything anyone has ever seen before, especially if people are coming here from places like Ohio or middle of America. They just don't see these ecosystems where they are. And I can't believe they look exactly like they do on the TVs. This park really captures the Florida Keys, all the different ecosystems we have here. We have a whole bunch of mangroves, which is a huge ecosystem in the Florida Keys, has nursery grounds for all kinds of baby fish. And then we also get to go out and see those coral reefs that we're so famous for. So the National Marine Sanctuary is an ocean state park, which means everything inside of it is regulated. There's certain places you can fish, but within certain parts of the sanctuary, there's other zones called spas. Within those areas, all you can do is snorkel and scuba dive. You can't touch anything, you can't take anything. All you can do is look at the beauty of nature, take pictures, and leave bubbles. I'm always amazed by the difference of life that can change every single day. One day you'll go down and you'll see one group of fish, maybe a whole school of yellowtail fish. And then the next day you go down and you've got 5 different types of sharks on the reef. The reef is ever changing throughout different times of the day, and it always has a surprise for us. It's important to see it because it shows you what you're caring about when you're doing things for the environment, when you're buying that reef-safe sunscreen, when you're watching the emissions on your car, when you're turning down your AC. Everything that goes into affecting the environment, it all comes back to these reefs. I hope people come home with the passion that we all have for saving our reefs, with the passion for changing their everyday decisions, using single-use plastic, using products that are ocean safe, and really just start to really care about our oceans and put work into saving them so that we can all have them for years and years.
John Pennekamp transports divers to some of the most spectacular and beautiful undersea landscapes on the planet. Equally as fascinating are the historical sites that can be found beneath the surface. Shipwrecks scattered throughout the ocean floor in the Keys offer a glimpse into our past and the human drama surrounding the circumstances leading to their watery resting places.
Here in the Florida Keys, we have a very unique adventure that's called the Wreck Trek. And what that is there's a Florida Keys artificial reef program that has sunk certain ships all along the coastline of the Keys from Key Largo to Key West. And a wreck trek is exactly what it sounds like. You start diving in Key Largo on the wrecks and you hit all the wrecks all the way down to Key West. The beauty about the wreck trek is that if you're an advanced diver, you can hit them all, or even if you're an open water diver, there are a couple that are in shallow depths where you can experience diving on a wreck and not have to go to a certain depth. On these wrecks, you're going to see lots of critters, and also the growth that starts accumulating on these wrecks, the sponges, the corals, they're beautiful.
Passing down a love of diving from one generation to the next ensures that our oceans will remain a focus and treasure that must be protected. So what's attracting young people to scuba diving, and why are they doing it with their families?
Diving is a unique sport because you can do it with your entire family, whether it's with grandma and grandpa or both your kids or your wife. It allows the entire family to partake in an adventure that is unique and different from anything that you can do. I think one of the reasons that you should get your kids involved in scuba diving is that it allows them to see a different part of our world. Below the water on a coral reef, you know, it's something very special, and it's one thing to read about it in the history books, but it's another thing to go down and actually experience it. Recently, we've seen more certifications coming, especially the early stages, you know, the open water divers and especially kids. And I think one of the reasons why is that we live in a very technology-driven world right now, and I think parents are starting to realize that we need to get our kids off the couch. We need to get them out there. We need to get them underwater. We need to get them, you know, seeing what the world has to offer and not behind, you know, a TV screen or a computer screen. Personally, I mean, I think one of the things that I want the next generation to get out if you become a certified diver is the fact that we need to protect our seas. We need to protect our oceans. We need to protect our coral reefs. And I think one of the only ways to do that is to get the younger generation under the water and have them see what's down there and have them appreciate what's down there, for them to take on, you know, that challenge to protect our amazing oceans.
Right.
I've had numerous parents, you know, come up to me after their child gets certified, and you know, they go home and they try to identify what they saw. You know, this was a flamingo tongue. They never know what a flamingo tongue was. This was a wrasse, a hogfish, whatever, a turtle. So it brings, I think, families closer. You know, because they share now, after the kids getting certified, they share a passion, and it's sometimes hard to relate, you know, to your kids these days, and scuba diving, you know, that brings them together.
For the Ivan family from Naples, Florida, it's been an experience the whole family can enjoy.
All my kids, I'm lucky to say, love the water, and it's a very big family tradition that we do stuff in the Keys all the time. My kids love the water. They love every aspect of it. I mean, they all love the sun, and it's great. My husband and I we grew up doing it ourselves since we were their age, which is amazing. And we would always do it together. So of course, when we got married and had kids, we only expected to all do it as a family. The most amazing thing I saw was the eel. It was a huge eel next to a huge nurse shark that it actually made the nurse shark look tiny, because it was almost like we were in a miniature land. Us people were the miniatures, and these huge, amazing creatures were just all around us. I'd say today was probably one of the prettiest in all different collection of types of fish that we saw. I mean, we pretty much saw almost everything, everywhere. It was really neat.
Obviously, in this generation, you grow up now hearing all about conservation and having to protect this, because all the other reefs, like Great Barrier Reef's dying away because of sunscreen and people's interactions with it. So you're taught now to stay away from the reef and have your boundaries with it, but also have fun, enjoy it, just so it lasts longer.
If our generation doesn't start protecting the reef, there's not going to be much reef left, and that's really important. It's really the future, and if we don't all put our sense in to help have that for future generations, my grandchildren and their grandchildren aren't going to be able to experience what we just did as a family today.
There are hospitals for people, but did you know that there's actually a hospital for sea turtles? Located in Marathon in the Florida Keys, the Turtle Hospital has successfully treated over 2,000 sea turtles since it was established.
What a great morning, huh?
Turtle releases, like this one, are a very special reminder that countless animals depend upon the health of our oceans in order to survive. Scenes like these are extraordinary, but not all turtles ever make it back to the sea.
The Turtle Hospital, located in the heart of the Florida Keys, has been rescuing, rehabilitating, and returning endangered and threatened sea turtles to the wild for over 35 years. We see 5 of the 7 species of sea turtles found in the world in and around the Florida Keys. Most of the turtles are sick or injured or from human impact. So sadly, a lot of them are struck by boats, have fishing gear ingestion or entanglement, ingestion of plastics or synthetics, and then we also see natural predators like shark attacks and things of that nature. We have over 46 turtles at the Turtle Hospital right now in our care. So this is Brussels, a juvenile green sea turtle. He has fibropapilloma tumors. When we take a sea turtle, which is the oldest animal known to man, it's survived our planet for over 140 million years, this species. If we take one of these animals that is threatened or endangered of being extinct on our planet, take that animal that would have otherwise not made it, get it back to good health, and return it to their ocean home, there is just no better feeling.
There you go.
Conservation connects so many things in the Florida Keys, both below and above the water. The History of Diving Museum in Isla Mirada offers an amazing look at the evolution of diving. And then there's Dolphin Research Center in Marathon with its saltwater lagoons, dolphins, and sea lions. Big Pine's National Key Deer Refuge, home to a very special kind of deer. And in Key West, you'll come up close and personal with hundreds of living butterflies and colorful birds at the Key West Butterfly and Nature Conservatory.
We fly butterflies from all over the world. We also have Florida native butterflies. So they're all feeding on the same nectar sources. So we were looking at a paper kite from Asia and a Julia, which is a Florida native butterfly. The blue morphos, our signature butterfly, are the beautiful blue that follow each other in the air throughout the conservatory. So they're always in a perpetual dance. Red and Scarlet are our 2 resident flamingos. They're definitely the most engaging part. Everybody loves them. They are characters. They love to entertain. So they're hanging out in their pond, putting on their little show throughout the day. We really hope that people will take home appreciation for nature and maybe learn a little bit about the butterflies around them, as well as the different birds and our flamingos.
Wildlife in the Florida Keys is everywhere. Sometimes it's just hard to spot, like this key deer, located in the National Key Deer Refuge on Big Pine Key. This stretch of land is the perfect place to spot these rare beauties. Found only in this area, key deer are on the endangered species list, with only about 600 to 800 remaining on the planet. They are a must-see if you're in the Keys. The refuge also has an abundance of other wildlife and rare habitats.
The Florida key deer is a subspecies of the white-tailed deer. It's actually the smallest species, and so you won't see them grow up really big. My goal of what they hope to learn is, the story of how these animals have survived here, how unique they are to this area, and how this is their habitat that we have, and the primary goal of why we're here to preserve it.
The Florida Keys is like no other place in this country. Each key has its own unique character for you to explore. There's spectacular scuba diving, fishing, and boating. It's a tropical utopia, and it needs protecting. We're living in exciting times. Building awareness and protecting precious animals like the key deer have become a priority. And realizing that sea turtles are in danger, residents and tourists are doing their part to bring them back to health. It's our responsibility to protect this paradise, not only for this generation, but for the generations to come.